Hello, I'm Jesse McAnally.
And I'm Andrew DeWolf.
And welcome to Musicals with Cheese, a podcast where I try to get Andrew to like musical theater week by week and show by show. And Andrew, can you believe it? We've got an extra special returning guest.
Ooh, extra special returning guest. Ooh,
yes.
They're on their way to the cheese platter.
They are, and also ranked one of the best episodes of last year by our Keeper of the Cheese, Juliet Antonio, returning guest, Robbie Rozelle. And their I forgot to even list your multi-hyphenates.
It doesn't even matter.
You are very handsome, is all you asked me to say.
Yep.
That's the only thing that was on there. It's handsome.
It's a while.
Handsome fella, Robbie Rozelle.
Wait, I'm so sorry. Before we go into everything we're about to go into, our episode on High Society was rated the best of last. That's a lot of
one of the best. Yes, it was one of the top 10 best of last year's.
I was surprised.
As were all of us. How is your quest to falling in love with musical theater going, would you say?
Oh, it's well, until this week it was going pretty well.
Sure.
This one was just awful.
Andrew fundamentally disagrees with the Man in the Moon being a lady, so
it's actually a drag queen, but it's fine.
It has to be a man.
It's a man in the moon. How could it be a lady?
What happened to traditional masculinity? What is a woman anyways?
Where were you on January 6th?
Jail.
Yeah. Great.
I just love... Okay, now I've got this image in my head of fucking B. Arthur on January 6th. I'm getting in there. I don't care. You ain't gonna stop me.
She was actually the shaman.
Like, what is this, 2 minutes and we're already off the rails completely?
My inner B. Arthur's coming out in my laugh. In case you haven't picked up what we're throwing down, which I don't see why you would. We've literally given no good hints. This week, we are talking about the musical Mame. Cue the music.
Coax the blues right out of the horn. Mame, you charm the husk right off of the corn. Mame, you've got the banjo strumming and plunking out a tune to beat the band. The whole plantation's humming since you brought Dixie back to Dixieland. You make the cotton easy to pick. Mame, you give my old mint julep a kick. Mame, whoever thought a Yankee would put our little Dixie bells to shame? You've made us feel alive again. You've given us the drive again to make the South revive again, man.
So, fun fact, this musical's writer is literally named Robert E. Lee. But let's go into that. Hold on.
Yep.
I'm not exaggerating.
It's true. Holy shit.
Yep.
He is credited in the film as Robert E. Lee. But Mame is a musical written by Jerome Lawrence and Robert Edwin Lee, a.k.a. Robert E. Lee. Music and lyrics by Jerry Herman, based on Anti-Mame, a series of novellas by Patrick Dennis, who is a very interesting person in his own right.
Yes.
The musical opened on Broadway at the Winter Garden Theater on May 24th, 1966. 3 years later, transferred to the Broadway Theater, where it remained until closing on January 3rd, 1970. Between the two venues, it ran a total of 1,508 performances and 5 previews. Remember when you could just have 5 previews? The plot of Mame is roaring 20s socialite Mame Dennis teaches her orphan nephew the nature of free living and free thinking, attempting to keep him from the clutches of the uptight world his late father's estate executor and, later, his fiancée. I guess that's a plot.
Yes.
So, Robbie, I consider you, as far as the musical theater, like internet space, the one that, the authority of divas. Literally, it's in your Twitter handle, Diva Robbie.
Correct.
You know, personally, so many divas. You have described being a footstool to Patti LuPone. You have so many Melissa Errico stories.
I do, yes. Thanks so much for remembering.
I everything that you say I latch on to because I find your existence so fascinating.
Same.
So I wasn't 100% sure your opinions on Mame, but I knew you would definitely have some. And for those of you behind the scenes, we were covering Mame no matter what. I just reached out to Robbie less than 24 hours ago to
Correct.
see if they join in with us.
And you know what? Damn thrilled to be here. There's nothing I like to do more in the world than talk about Jerry Herman. So this is, what a day, a banner year for me. Nay,
Yes.
century.
And we're giving you a better show than High Society at the very
Also,
least.
weirdly, saw Melissa Errico in concert 2 nights ago, and she sang from High Society. And
Everyone's favorite
she
musical.
would be an excellent Mame. So, and we're going to get into it.
I know you're going to have opinions.
Yeah, I love Mame.
I want to hear them. You love Mame.
Unabashedly love Mame. Yeah, I think there's something in the way that Jerry Herman writes that makes him ideal for Mame, which is such a queer-coded show to begin with, because Mame Dennis is basically your fabulous gay uncle.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the
There's
lie?
no lie detected.
None, not
Yeah,
one.
I can
Honestly,
see it. I can see
the
it.
fact that Paul Lind never played Mame is shocking. Shocking.
I agree. Never even any covers? Like,
No. And
That's
honestly, Mame is, unlike Dolly Levi, born Gallagher, there has never been like a high-profile production with a male lead. Fascinating.
I find a drag lead would be interesting. I also think a trans lead would be interesting.
Yes.
I think bringing Mame back to Broadway in the year of our Lord 2024 would be a fascinating thing.
Yeah, it definitely requires a rewrite.
I would say an entire restructure of that second act.
I mean, the whole thing is like a series of episodes, right? It's vignette,
Mhm.
vignette, 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 strung together by a really gorgeous, joyous score. And
And a little bit of praise for the South.
yes, but in a satire, like Jerry Herman and Mame are
Mhm.
fully mocking what is happening.
Yeah, they are.
So unless they're, I don't know, truthers, J Sixers,
Lost cause.
right?
Where was Mame on January 6th?
She was
Mm,
anywhere else, honestly. Everywhere else, she
yeah,
was
but where
not
was
there.
Pickett Jackson Burnside on Jan 6?
Singing "Welcome Home" from Bandstand to them as they walked in. So
Oh,
I love Mame. I think, though, it is a show that, like all Jerry Herman shows, really requires a dynamic leading lady to carry it over the finish line. And
Lucille Ball.
we're going to get to her, right? Because it was Jerry. Jerry wanted Judy Garland to do it more than any
Right.
other. And the producers would not bond Judy Garland to do it, because insurers would not bond her. They didn't think that she could do 8 a week.
We talked a lot about Judy Garland and what they were going through during that period, and it was not great. Anything an actress could go through, Judy Garland went through it.
Plus,
Oh,
yeah, she had to build that arc. She was busy.
But all this love for Mame up
Mhm.
front, I hope Andrew won't mind me quoting him directly, but he did text me after watching 2 versions of Mame, and I believe you said, as a society, we have done the right thing to completely forget everything about Mame except for that Christmas song. Now, is that misrepresenting your opinion on Mame?
I don't know if it's misrepresenting, since I did directly say it. seems like that would be my opinion.
Andrew,
Okay.
what happened to you? Do you hate joy?
A little bit.
Yeah, I can see that through the screen. Do you hate happiness? Do you hate large parties with champagne and sliding down
I do hate that
banisters?
one.
What Mames did you watch? This is the key. What Mames did you watch to say Mame is not for me?
Okay, well, I sent that message after watching the movie.
Well, that is a fair assessment.
But he did watch the Christine Baranski Kennedy Center's performance before
Yes.
that.
The full
I did
thing,
watch
or
that
like the
before.
highlight?
The
stuff?
full thing.
Oh wow, great! So you
Which I
got
think I sent a different opinion after watching that one, which was Mame is just about nothing, right?
no. See, that's the thing. It is not about nothing. It's very much about teaching children about joy and letting go of repressions, right? Which again is like a fabulous gay uncle or crazy aunt. Everybody's got their crazy cat lady aunt, right? And this sort of merges the two of them together. And so quick plot synopsis. Spoiler alert, Mame's brother dies in a tragic accident, very Batman style somehow, along with his wife. And everybody's dead except for the kid, who becomes Batman. So the kid is sent to go live with said fabulous aunt, who is a bohemian, and he's been raised like in a very repressed Republican sort of Catholic, I'm guessing. Because Saint Bridget is like the opener. He's sent to go live with them, with Auntie Mame, who is the full opposite of that. And what I think it is about like discovering who you are and letting go of what you are brought up on.
But then he also embraces his original conservative nature later in life.
It's very the birdcage.
Yeah.
Where like, Lacage even. Jerry Herman. Where like the son is bringing home the conservative in-law, which is what Patrick Dennis does. And could you tone it down a little? And Auntie Mame is like, fuck that. What if I turned it up to 11? Do you know the Christmas song because of the Muppets? We Need a Little Christmas.
Yeah, probably.
Sure.
I thought you knew it because it's on every 5 minutes every time I'm at a grocery store from October to December.
Sure.
That as well.
But like the Muppet Family Christmas literally opens with them all doing it.
It does.
Which also is not a Christmas song. That's the hilarious part.
There's a lot of Christmas songs that aren't Christmas songs, though.
Sure.
Christmas just kind of claims. They just claim songs, and it's just like, well, this is a Christmas song now.
Sure.
Although this one is the most like a Christmas song.
Despite it not being a Christmas song.
Despite not being a Christmas song, they are at least talking about Christmas.
Sure.
And saying that they need Christmas.
It's
so there's
jaunty.
that.
So I guess you get that.
You add some jingle bells in there, and then it is a Christmas song. That's it.
And people have.
I do have a question about the timeline of Mame. So we introduce in the very first scene that Patrick was due to arrive on December 1st, and she thinks it's November 31st, and then she's like, oh no, I got my dates wrong. How soon between that and her losing all her money is that?
Oh, right. So, because she
loses it all later?
She loses it all in 1929 in the Wall Street crash, right?
Right.
So, sometime within that year, probably a year.
Okay, so it's not literally like 2 weeks later.
No.
And we need a little Christmas.
No, it's like smash cut. Sure. No, there's some time in there. It's just, again, because these are all vignettes.
Yeah.
Everything should be assumed that there is a passage of time.
Yeah, sometimes it makes sense, but like since those are the only 2 times they address dates, and it is in relative the same time, where it's like it's 2 weeks past Thanksgiving Day. I'm like that math might track. Hold on.
So how long were the servants working for her for free?
Great question. Thanks for asking. 100 years.
Oh no!
No, I don't know.
The South really has risen again.
Yikes.
Sorry.
Oh, wow, you killed Jesse. This is the best episode this year.
It's the best episode of the year.
It took me a second to realize, and then it hit all at once. I apologize, Robbie. We've gone too long without bringing up Mr. Pickett Burnside, Jackson Pickett Burnside.
Sure.
What a
one
name.
of the top tier Broadway names, like right next to like Ermengarde from Hello. I think Jerry Herman musicals just like fucking weird names.
Ermengarde, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, a lot of them come from their source materials, so
I know, but I feel like
because when was Mame? When was this? The novel of Auntie Mame was written in 1955.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's not even a 10-year-old property.
No, but also there's a very popular movie that already existed. Yeah. So let's think about what it would be like.
The film is incredible. I don't know the last time you watched Auntie Mame.
Oh, it's great.
It is.
So there's a movie that's not the musical version.
Yeah.
So there was a play called Auntie Mame that starred Roz Russell, the Lizard of Oz, Rosalind Russell of Wonderful Town fame on Broadway, and then she made the film of it. and then Jerry Herman musicalized the same novel.
Yeah.
With
and they're very similar
Robert E. Lee.
pieces. Like, they're not dissimilar pieces. And the film, directed by Morton DaCosta, same director as The Music Man.
Yeah.
Morton, can I go into a conspiracy theory for a second right
Nothing
here?
would
I don't
make
know
me
if it's-
happier.
Tinfoil right now. Let's
Yeah.
go.
It's weird. I think it's less conspiracy, just more like I'm seeing patterns. So maybe I'm just schizophrenic. So let's take a look at that.
Sure. Two things can be true.
So Morton DaCosta only directed 3 films before they died.
Sure.
One being The Music Man, one being Mame, and one being Island of Love. 2 out of 3 of those have Robert Preston starring in them.
Mhm.
The Music Man and Island of Love. The third one, Mame, does not have Robert Preston starring in it. However, the remake of that film as a musical, directed by, I think it's, what's that fucker's name? The guy that directed the play.
Gene Sachs.
Gene Sachs
Mhm.
does have Robert Preston in it. Were we just trying to fill Morton DaCosta's need to put Robert Preston into every one of their properties?
Huh. Interesting.
Because that fills in the one bubble that he didn't get.
Or was he just so profitable because of The Music Man that they were like, this?
Let's see a profitable name. Robert
They just
Preston.
wanted to see him with a mustache.
He does look good with the mustache.
Who among us doesn't? Gene Sachs, fun fact, was married to B. Arthur.
Yep, that's why B. Arthur's in the movie. I have a quote from B. Arthur where she basically said, "My husband blackmailed me into being in the film."
Sure.
Like, basically like, hey, do your part in this marriage. Be in this movie. And I
Wow.
was like,
It looks
"All
like
right."
shit.
Jesus. Just
She-
yikes.
She was very openly against this film. Like, in an interview, she said, "Oh God, you saw the film version of Mame? It's horrible. I hated it. I absolutely hate the film of Mame. It was one of those things you get talked into doing. At the time, I was married to the director of the film. He says, as my wife, you owe it to me. And I just felt that it was badly miscast."
Are we going to talk about the movie now? Or are we going there?
Are you ready? Because I feel like we didn't even talk about Angela, which we should do.
Let's
at
talk
the
about
very least.
Angela because
Yeah.
she jumped from Anyone Can Whistle, which was her first Broadway show,
Horrible flop.
directly into this.
She was great.
Yeah.
Like, for someone that had only been in one other musical that flopped,
Huge flop.
like, embarrassing flop, to go into her name being above the fucking marquee. And I'm pretty sure Mary Martin was offered the role as well as Lucille Ball for the stage version.
Whoops.
And Angela Lansbury got it and won the Tony, was incredible, well regarded, went on national tours with the show. Like, this made her. This was the moment she made it.
hmm
And
And why is she not in the movie?
That's a
yeah, Robbie.
great question. Hollywood was sort of done with her for a minute,
Mhm.
right? Until The Manchurian Candidate, where she would get Oscar nominated. But like she had become middle-aged, and suddenly on Broadway, she was this like sparkly leading lady in her yellow sparkly jumpsuit, which, fun fact, spawned Neil Diamond because that's about all he wears.
All right. This all tracks. I'm
Yeah.
tracking all this.
Yeah, you're welcome. So
Follow the lines.
she reinvented herself as a musical comedy lady.
Mhm.
I don't know why she didn't do the film, other than like her movies didn't sell.
So Warner Brothers executives are the ones that passed on Angela Lansbury for the title role. But Lansbury recalled a time when she was playing Mame on Broadway, and she was visited by one Lucille Ball, who told her she was amazing in the part and deserved all the honor she was receiving and was a shoo-in for the film version. Lansbury was very touched at this until she noticed Ball in the Wings taking notes during her performance. It was then she realized she was never going to play the part in the movie.
Yikes.
Backstabbed.
I mean, Lucy was Lucy, and this was kind of her big return to film because
Mhm.
Lucy didn't do films for many years. And this is famously her last film because she refused to do another one.
Angela and Lucy did a film together.
Oh.
Do you know what film?
I do not.
It was a musical. It is The Harvey Girls with Judy Garland.
The Three Possible Mames.
Right? Ooh,
What a
spooky.
match. Conspiracy. There is the main conspiracy going on. There is too many
There's
many
a lot
red
of
strings.
coincidences here. There's a lot of things getting tied together.
So the Mame revival happened in 83, and that's a couple years after Sweeney Todd, where she kind of gets a theater renaissance in a weird way.
Yeah.
And that flopped hard. Is it because people were just like really like, oh, you're Mrs. Lovett now. Go be that.
Right.
But now we got to transfer into the movie. So
Great.
the film was released in 1974, shot in Panavision, and it was originally supposed to be shot in 1972, but was postponed when Lucille Ball broke her leg in a skiing accident, much like Pickett Burnside. Owing to this delay, the original director, George Cukor, who directed A Star is Born and some scenes in The Wizard of Oz, was forced to withdraw from the project, and then it went to Gene Saks, who directed the original show.
Yes, which is interesting, like a wildly interesting, because he wasn't really a film director per se.
No.
Though he did make other movies later. But it's so much of a how come? Yeah, the movie is not great. Hollywood did not do well by our pal Jerry Herman.
Because you got the Hello Dolly debacle, which is another leading lady bullshit thing where they got the Carol Channing and then you got Babs in the role.
Now, I do not dislike the movie as much as some.
I do.
That's okay. But it's not as... the more time that passes, the better the Hello Dolly film is.
I think Barbra Streisand would be more right for the role today if we made it.
She wouldn't sing it today, unfortunately. But it's a very fun romp, right? So but the Mame film, which is basically shot through like Vaseline and cheesecloth, and she's nothing but.
Well, that's right up our alley, right?
Like, and the way she's dressed, she looks like a sequin with eyes. Like that's all you see. It's like maybe a nostril because there's so much Vaseline on that lens. It's fascinating.
The budget for Lucille Ball's costumes alone was $300,000.
Is there a Vaseline budget?
There had to have been. They didn't list it. It's not like the Blues Brothers where cocaine was on the line sheet.
There's not a Vaseline for the gay men ensemble. That's weird.
No, not that I know.
They should have listed something there.
Yeah, they should have. It's expensive. They could have written it off. But Jerry Herman actually worked very hard with Lucille Ball to try to improve her singing, but she could barely sustain a note for even one sentence without becoming winded. Open a new window.
One heck of a skiing accident.
This is a fun story. Open a new window.
Because she couldn't get through a single sentence, so they're editing 50 different takes to get her through like one phrase. Open a new window, news on.
She could never sing the word door, and so finally he ran up to her with a tape recorder, hit the note for door, and said, "Sing door." And she went, "Door." It is cut and paste all over the place.
And you can hear it.
Do not envy those audio engineers.
No.
Open a new window, open a new door, travel a new highway.
And it's not like today where it's an audition cut and paste. It was tape.
Mm-hmm.
No, you're slicing all that and you're piecing it together, and oh my god.
And is it worth it for a actress that doesn't move gracefully, that doesn't sing in any way that sounds appealing to the ear, and has one scene where they're really shining, and then the rest of the film they are just kind of there?
Yeah, and that I think belies the major problem with Mame. If you don't have an engaging leading lady to carry the film or to carry any production of it, that's the whole my central thesis in general, then you don't have a show. And what I find very interesting is Gene Saks directed this. Gene Saks is most famous for directing almost all of Neil Simon's plays for years, right? And they are all comedies, most of them with some kind of farcical element, etc. And you have the greatest screen comedian of all time, and it does not work. Age is a factor, but it's not the only factor.
No, I think it has a lot. The editing is garbage. There is no comedic timing to any cut, which makes every thing that Lucy probably really, really is good at, like Bosom Buddies, is not a problem with her performance. It is the problem with the way it's edited and how long we hold on a shot or how long we hold on a reaction.
Yeah.
it really is so baffling how this film turned out to be so unpleasant to watch.
I do love and use a gif of B. Arthur often raising the champagne glass and then promptly falling backwards down the stairs.
Yes.
That is perfect.
That is
no
great.
Notes. B. Arthur escapes. B. Arthur and Jane Connell are who escaped this film unscathed. And they are notably the two people who did the stage production.
Robert Preston's so close, but
So
then he
close.
trips right before the finish line.
His new song is beautiful. Loving You, gorgeous.
Yes.
Gorgeous.
And he's actually allowed to sing. He's never been allowed to sing outside of Mac and Mabel.
And this would be his first brush with Jerry Herman, but not his last.
No. We do have to cover Mac and Mabel one day.
Mac and Mabel, and Jerry wrote extra songs for Ben Franklin in Paris, including its most famous one. So, yeah.
Did he also, who wrote Chicken Fat? Because I think about that song a lot.
What is Chicken Fat?
You don't know about Chicken Fat? Hold on.
Is this like a commercial or something?
So in the mid-20th century, Americans were getting fat. So they hired Robert Preston. I thought it was Jerry Herman to write a score, but it was 1961, about how kids should do sit-ups and do push-ups. And now we're about to listen to it.
Chicken Fat.
Oh.
This is on vinyl?
Yeah, it's on a lot of things. 10 times. Just now and then, give that chicken fat back to the chickens.
How do we have an obesity epidemic if this exists? Explain that.
Hired by the government to sing this. So, and I've heard so many stories about this song. Like, even my dad brought up hearing this song. They would play it in the gyms during the 60s and 70s, required in educational schools.
Oh, no. That was written by Meredith Willson.
I knew it was someone.
I just did a googie goo.
Like Music Man?
Yes.
I got to teach Robbie something that he didn't know
my
about
God.
Broadway.
This is the secret Music Man song.
I have been in love with this song for a while. But
every morning, not for this
tangent to go on longer than it needs to, but
Too late.
It got revitalized in my brain because I don't watch this show, but my girlfriend does. Marvelous Mrs. Maisel. They have Tony Shalhoub doing exercises every morning, and they play that song every time. But then he gets sad, and he can't bring himself to exercise, so they do a sad piano rendition of it, and it's the funniest. Hold on, can I find that version of it?
So that song was written in 1961 for the President's Council on Physical Fitness by Meredith Willson. And it was played every morning for the students to do calisthenics. Kill me.
And it didn't work.
No.
We all got fat anyways.
I eat the cheese. That's the problem.
It is. I mean, the cheese is going to kill me.
All of us.
It's fucking incredible. I'm sorry that I had to take that. And
Wow.
I felt it was important to share.
I mean, I will tell you, Jerry Herman did write a song that was on Golden Girls.
Which one?
The Henny Penny song.
Yes, that makes sense.
We must fly and try to warn the king.
Robert Preston is so charming in the movie.
Yeah.
The joke dies because he doesn't even attempt a Southern accent. Except for
barely.
maybe one line or two every now and then.
Sure.
He is full of charm, full of charisma. He is a screen presence. When you're in a drought, he is a drop of water, but only a drop. And then we get to the ridiculous South segment.
Sure. That segment is hilarious in how just ludicrous it all is. And obviously, like, Patrick Dennis, openly gay Patrick Dennis, was taking the piss out of all of that.
Yes.
I think there are times where people play it too straight. Like, there's not a knowing wink. That I think, honestly, the Ito in the film is more of a problem than
I
the
agree.
South scene, and that's because he is playing it as if he's Mickey Rooney in Breakfast at Tiffany's, which is unfortunate.
Yes.
That is a problem. I
Yeah.
agree. But I think the movie just plays it too straight with that scene, specifically with like
Mhm.
Burnside himself. Like if it was just all the people around him doing this, but
Yeah.
Mame still marries the guy that's like, you pick the cotton out of our field, Mame. Like he says something wild like that.
Yeah.
Or I'm like, I'm not saying remove all those elements because it's obvious. Like the mom is a ridiculous stereotype and everything like that.
And that's
those
the whole
make
point.
sense.
Yeah.
But Burnside himself doesn't.
Yeah.
But it also makes for a wildly rousing title number that closes the act.
Well, we just needed to do Hello Dolly, but again.
So Mame sort of, like I said, rises and falls on the women, and some great women have
100%.
come and gone through it. Who would be Mame now?
That's a good question. I want to ask Andrew first because I
Yeah.
know he has no concept and no guesses. So I'd want to hear what your pitch is.
It's going to be fun.
For what? What am I
Who
pitching?
would you pick to play Mame now if they had to do a Broadway revival?
Oh, fucking good lord! Why are you asking me this?
As I said, because I know you have no context and no ideas and you're terrible with names. Go.
Fucking. Oh my god. Jesus. Who's? I feel like Mame should be a middle-aged woman, and I don't know any
Wow.
that are currently popular on Broadway.
You couldn't even begrudge
I
to
can't-
throw a guess.
Who am I supposed to guess? I don't know any fucking actresses.
Well, it gets better.
Hey. You're trying to get him to like musicals one musical at a time. We're not quite there
High
yet,
Society
Robbie.
didn't take, so.
Look, I can't fucking name any people in
You have met
movies
Broadway
or
stars.
musicals or anything.
You have met Broadway stars that I know half our audience would kill to meet, and you're just like,
I can't even remember who they are after I meet them. It's amazing. It's like a memory of a goldfish.
Wow. Mame should be somebody who is elegant and daffy and funny, but doesn't know that she's daffy and funny. That is key. You cannot play it with like a broad wink. It sort of has to be like Ellen Green in Little Shop of Horrors, right? Has no idea that she's
I know
an
exactly what you need.
extraterrestrial. She's
you
just
need Maud Apatow.
Yeah.
Maud Apatow.
No, but somebody who is like elegant, who is clearly raised in money in some way, but then sort of shed it all, but not quite. For me, it's like Melissa Errico, Donna Murphy.
Ooh.
Yeah. Renee Elise Goldsberry would be interesting to me.
That would be a good one.
Yeah.
You need someone bigger than the you know who they'd try to sell you on, but I don't think it would work?
Who?
Would be a Kristen Chenoweth. They would really try to sell
Cheno wants to do it.
I could see it working. I don't think it would be perfect, but I could see it working.
No, I think, again, because it needs to be somebody who is so elegant and stuff, like, there's a reason that, like, Christine Ebersole did it at Paper Mill. And I think also at Hollywood Bowl with young Benjamin Platt as the kid.
I wish Marin Maisie was still here.
Marin would be ideal. Honestly, she would be Marin Amazing, is what she would be.
Those things bum me out sometimes. Like,
yeah, well, you did that.
Carmen Cusack would be an amazing choice,
Carmen
which is
would
my
be
idea
wonderful.
and solely my idea. I did not steal that from anyone else.
Certainly not from me earlier, as I was saying that if Jerry Herman was alive, he would have written the Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris musical for her, for Carmen Cusack. And now, wait, I said earlier that somebody should write that. And who did I say?
Shaman, Mark Shaman.
Mark Shaman and Scott Whitman would write a very good Mrs. Harris Goes to Paris musical that Carmen Cusack could star in, because they have a Jerry Herman sensibility to them.
Patty Murin would also probably be a good Gooch.
Oh, yes. Patty Murin would actually be ideal as Gooch. She's so funny and likes to just pull faces. Excellent cast. Honestly, what somebody should do, I think, is encores. Encores should just do Mame. Because the last Broadway production with Angela Lansbury was a flop. Yeah. Yes.
All right. That being said, let's move on to our favorite section of the show. It's time for previews.
It's time for previews. It's time for previews.
I do want to talk a little bit about the reviews of the film Mame for a second, because that thing got lambasted from every side. Leonard Maltin said it was hopelessly out-of-date musical, will embarrass even those who love Lucy, calling Fred and Ethel Mertz. I met Leonard Maltin. He had very soft hands. Pauline Kael, the New Yorkers, wondered, after 40 years in movies and TVs, did she discover in herself an unfulfilled ambition to be a flaming drag queen? Another killer take by Pauline Kael. Stanley Kaufman thought he pointed out that Ball would have made a perfect Mame had she played the role 15 years earlier. She looked too old and too stringy in the legs, too basso in the voice, and too creaky in the joints. And of course, Mame defended herself by saying, Mame stayed up all night drinking champagne. What'd you expect her to sound like, Julie Andrews?
Oh, no.
I don't think that's a good defense of bad singing.
No.
My character wouldn't sing good.
Whoop.
Think about it.
Think about it. In real life, it would have been bad. And of course, the iconic Gene Siskel review where he basically points out everything wrong with this film step by step that we've already talked about. That the lens is covered in Vaseline, Lucy is terrible, and the very essence of Mame as a character, as I understand, is that she is able to stare old age in the face and make it slink away. And she does this without makeup but her personality. There are many awkward transitions that render the character motivation absurd.
People did not like this fucking movie.
No, it's not a good movie. And I feel like all three of us agree it's not a good movie. But how about fuck the critics real quick? It's time to look at the real critics and play our favorite game, where you, Robbie, and Andrew are going head to head.
Great.
Where I'm gonna read you guys real Letterboxd reviews, and you have to guess just based on the review alone whether they're a 1-star or a 5-star.
Oh no!
You can't let me win. If I win, it will be embarrassing for you.
I mean, this whole episode's been embarrassing for you, so you deserve something.
Well, after that burn, Andrew...
only makes it more embarrassing if I win.
You just got burn-sided.
All right, Andrew, you're going first after that burn side. Okay. Ready, Andrew?
Yeah, let's go.
Nice. My mom loves this movie.
Now that's embarrassing. Oh, jeez. Okay. Their mom loves it. They said nice. I have to pick 5 stars. This is a positive review.
That is a negative review. That was a 1-star.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. I should have known that, obviously.
All right, Robbie, you're next.
So ready.
This film is overflowing with gay aesthetic, and I love it dearly.
5 star.
That is a 1-star. All right.
What the fuck?
I was equally confused.
Where the fuck do you find this shit? Like, honestly.
You go to letterboxd.com, and then you adjust by rating, and then you're like, what the fuck?
Wow.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. I love it dearly. 1 star. Lowest score possible.
All right.
Yikes.
Andrew.
Yeah.
It was all fun and games until Lucille Ball put on that mask. And I think we both know what that fucking Santa Claus
mask.
The most
it's a little
horrific
creepy.
mask on the planet.
It's a little creepy, although I don't know if it's worth noting in my review of it. No, I mean, fuck this. This is a negative review, but so far you've given us 2 positives. This is a fucking 5-star. They love this fucking thing.
That is correct. Robbie.
Yeah.
In parentheses, ignore rating. 1968 national tour starring Angela Lansbury.
That's the review?
That was the review.
Oh, God.
I mean,
1
sure,
star.
yeah, you should watch that.
That is a 1-star.
Ignore rating.
Ignore rating. All right, Andrew.
Yeah.
Lucille Ball's Art Pop. Robbie, do you get that reference?
Yes.
Do you understand what they're trying to say?
I sure do.
Okay.
Explain
well, I
it
don't,
to
Andrew and Gay after this is over.
Yeah, don't explain it now because then I might be able to guess it. Fucking 5 stars. This is a good thing.
That is correct.
Okay.
Robbie, explain what it means for it to be Lucille Ball's Art Pop.
Art Pop is a Lady Gaga album that was not as acclaimed as people think it should have been.
I'm one of those people. I fucking love art pop.
So it's sort of considered like her lost masterpiece, even though it's widely available.
Art pop.
I was thinking it was art pop, like the paintings of the Campbell's soup cans or something.
Sure.
No, that makes sense. I see how your brain tracks. All right, Robbie. God bless Agnes Gooch. I don't give a shit what happens to Mame's grandnephew. He'll get through it. What happens to Gooch? I mean, I'm definitely biased because I sang Gooch's song as my finale in my senior recital.
Of fucking course.
5 stars.
That is a 1 star.
No. I'm with you. That should have been a 5.
Yeah,
that
should have been a 5.
Wow.
I agree. But they're very negative about
homophobic.
everything but Gooch.
Nobody comes out here and is like, oh well, I sang the song for my in high school. 1 star. Get the fuck out of here.
Get it.
This person was.
This bitch.
Right. Andrew.
Yeah.
Just when you thought it couldn't get any crazier, one of the old people hits you with "The South Will Rise Again." Just describes every family reunion you go to, Andrew, right?
Oh, me? I don't have any Southern family, thank God.
Thank God.
I don't even know what to pick. One star. This one's
that
a 1
is
star.
correct. And Robbie, last one. Andrew's 2 points ahead of you, so you can't get in. But let's just end on you anyways.
Feels correct.
What a trip.
That's the whole thing?
That's the whole thing.
1 star.
That is a 5 star. And Andrew, you have won the letterbox game.
I tried. Wow.
You got robbed. You
People
got straight
were
up robbed.
stupid.
The one where they sang it at their senior recital, that was a 5 star. Like,
It was
no
not.
fucking way.
I can promise you it was not.
No
Half
fucking
of that
way.
review is about how much they hate Mame's nephew, and they just wanted more Gooch. I get why it's a 1 star.
Yeah, but they sang the song at their recital. They
God
give it a
forbid-
5 star.
The movie has one good moment. Like, we can't give it a 5 star for one good moment. How about we go into a mid-show, and then we see what happens? Hey guys, sorry to interrupt you in the middle of the show, but we've got to shill at you. It's part of the job, you know. I'm sure you're sick of all the BPN ads, but now you get to have a properly host-read ad in the middle about our own bullshit. So, today's show is brought to you by the extremely kind donations by our donors over at Patreon. Patreon's this beautiful place where you can come hang out with us. And we have a bunch of commentaries. We did the Rugrats series. The Schmigadoon episode-by-episode coverage is coming back, which is exciting. Schmicago, is it as good as season 1? Probably better because, you know, there's no COVID restrictions, so we might actually have resolutions to every character this time. Some characters might not just disappear for some reason. Or appear for one episode and literally just obviously be like, oh, you fulfilled the contractual obligation, bye. And also we have our Patreon meetups, which Robbie has joined us for before. How have you enjoyed those?
On the Discord, yes, that's correct. Yeah. As an old, I didn't even know what a Discord was. And, you know, they say by your students you'll be taught, and I was taught. It's beautiful.
That's fair enough.
Thank you.
Yes. Anytime, Robbie. But our current patrons are Melissa Goldman, Danielle Rennick, Jessica Stampede, Ewan Cassidy, Monica Throat, Brent Black, Nathaniel Stacey Coombe, Joseph Evans Green, Mary Lou Choquette, John Van Nels, Russ Walker, Musical Hell, Emily Gracie, Kyle Summer, Jen AC, Scoot in the Technicolor Dreamcoat, Liz Lim, Nothing is Certain Except Beth and Taxes, Thesbian, Ren Cohen, Rafael, Martinez Salaz, Jessica T, Mitchell Young, Chai Teacup, Katie McDonough, Chris Marcotte, Kiji, Marie Anastasio, Layla, RJ Narija, Charlie B, Bjorn Hermans, Toriana Fraser, Sammy the Most, Lopez, Liana Morton, Kaylee Blazier, Cinemageddon Reviews, Villainous Miss, Sophiana Ali, The Omega Geek, Paige Pearson, Maddie Wargle, Alyssa Erdman, Anna Loskatova, Cheska Vere, Sarah Den Blekier, Evan Ball, Zachary Torres, Gathering Party Before Venturing Forth, Rora Marasso, Mara Forloin, Captain Rodtastic, Lisa L, Sarah Walsh, Nobody, What Did Boris Say, Puffy Boy, and Summer. They all give us a little extra financial support that helps us keep the lights on here at Musicals with Cheese. And they also get exceedingly and more exceeding weird ass names. So hey, make your name as weird as you can, and we'll have to say it on the podcast.
Looking at you, Puffy Boy.
Puffy Boy, can you get any puffier? We have a lot of fun over at Patreon. One of our consistent things is our Discord chat, where you get to talk to me and Andrew throughout the day. Literally today, I was giving them getting feedback on what they thought about Mame. Most of them are too young to know about it, so
we have forgotten about it, except for that Christmas song.
Let's get back to the show. Light the lights up, dance your shoes off.
That's what I opened my Birdland show with.
I bet you killed it.
Yeah, of course I did.
What do you think about It's Today?
Light the candles, get the ice out, roll the rug up, it's today. Though it may not be anyone's birthday, and though it's far from the first of the year, I know that this very minute has history in it. We're here.
It's a time for making merry, and so I'm for making hay.
Tune the grand up, dance your shoes off, strike the band up, it's today.
It is a great song. It sets the tone properly, because like all Jerry Herman musicals, there wasn't a proper overture in the original production that was written for the album. And Hello Dolly also didn't have an overture in the original production. A sort of small semi-song opens the show, and then a big splashy number happens. And I think
it's a weird juxtaposition to start right off, because St. Bridget is intentionally unpleasant to listen to.
Yep. But then she slides down that banister.
Yep.
Perfect.
And life is great. And Angela Lansbury kills, but Christine Baranski is also fantastic when she performs this.
Her dancing in it is kind of shocking, because Christine Baranski is a Vera by mentality.
Yeah. If they made a movie, she'd be a Vera.
Yeah.
But sadly, they never made a Mame movie ever.
Yeah, it's sad that didn't happen.
Yeah. They were going to do a TV version with Cher that Streisand was going to direct in the 90s, when Craig Zaden and Neil Marin were making all of Annie, the 99 Annie and stuff. Yeah.
Open a new window, open a new door, travel a new highway that's never been tried before you find you're a dull fellow, punching the same clock, walking the same tightrope as everyone on the block. The fella you ought to be is three-dimensional, soaking up life down to your toes. Whenever they say you're slightly unconventional, just put your thumb up to your nose and show them how to dance to a new rhythm, whistle a new song, toast with a new vintage. The fizz doesn't fizz too long. There's only one way to make the bubbles stay. Simply travel a new highway, dance to a new rhythm, open a new window every day.
Is this the closest thing to an I Want song in this? Or at least an I Am song?
It's an I Am song. It's definitely not an I Want song. There are no I Want songs in this show. Most of them are declarations or how to change perspective.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of
this
the
is
songs
her
are
philosophy.
Changing.
Yes.
A lot of these songs are philosophy songs, right? Because We Need a Little Christmas is a philosophy song.
No, We Need a Little Christmas is a Christmas song.
Just shut the fuck up.
How do I leave studio? Is that what I hit?
Yeah, you want to hit the X on the bottom.
Yeah.
No. I'm gonna change my joke. No, We Need a Little Christmas is It Takes a Woman from Hello Dolly.
Yikes.
We'll get to that.
Yes.
I like Open a New Window, but it also feels like a response to what I want, as opposed to it feels like other people want things from Mame, and this is no, we're not doing that. We're not playing that game.
I think, though, the way that it's set up is Patrick says, oh, we can't do this. Oh, wait, Open a New Window is is the stock market crash, right?
I think so.
Yeah, and so
isn't she singing to the kid and she's telling him like, here's how you should look at the world? That's what I thought. Maybe I was thinking of it wrong though.
No, you're thinking of it right.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure this is like after she gets Patrick fucks with her when she's hungover, and she's like, "Oh, I like having you around, twerp."
Twerp.
Yeah.
I'm no Robert E. Lee. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're right. So, but it's here's the philosophy: we can't do that. Yeah, we can open a new window.
Yeah, and it becomes like the theme because It's Today is the theme of the musical. Open a New Window is the theme of Mame herself, the character.
I agree.
Let's talk about We Need a Little Christmas.
Out the holly, put up the tree before my spirit falls again. Fill up the stocking, I may be rushing things, but deck the halls again now. For we need a little Christmas right this very minute. Candles in the window, carols at the spinet. Yes, we need a little Christmas right this very minute. It hasn't snowed a single flurry, but Santa dear, we're in a
I know
hurry.
we're skipping over the moon
Do we
song,
have to
but
talk about We Need a Little Christmas?
just briefly, because I do want to talk about It Takes a Woman and how Jerry Herman just ripped himself off here. Do you know about this, obviously, Robbie?
Sure.
They're the same song. I brought this up in our Hello Dolly episode. I brought it up now. It's wild how no one's ever called him on it personally.
Takes a woman all powdered and pink to joyously clean out the drain in the sink. And it takes an angel with long golden lashes and soft Dresden fingers for dumping the ashes.
Yes, it takes a woman, a dainty woman, a sweetheart, a mistress, a wife. Oh, yes, it takes a woman, a fragile woman, to bring you the sweet things in life.
Yeah.
It's like a little different, but I mean, it's basically the same song.
Yeah.
But is that song ever going to get played at the mall in December?
Probably not. I will
agree.
This song has a life outside of the show.
Beautiful.
It is probably like the closest thing to a pop song, unless I'm incorrect, Robbie. Was any other song from this like a radio fave?
Yes. Huge song. Okay. The biggest hit from this show is actually If You Walked Into My Life, because Edie Gourmet.
That makes sense.
Edie Gourmet recorded it, and it was a hit.
Did he need a stronger hand? Did he need a lighter touch? Was I soft or was I tough? Did I give enough? Did I give too much? At the moment that he needed me, did I ever turn away? Would I be there when he called? If he walked into my life today?
Was that right after the Broadway show, or was it many years after?
It was in 1967, so yeah.
So that's right after the Broadway.
And she won the Grammy for Best Female Vocal Performance for it.
Is it like a pop version of it, or do they perform it as if it's in the show?
I think it's about the same. You can't really popify this. It's not like Ariana Grande's cover of Popular and then just claiming it's a new song.
Right.
Yeah.
No, it was a straightforward. It's a stunning. You can watch it on YouTube. It's stunning because she is a screamer.
What do you? We can talk about If He Walked Into My Life right now, because I love that song. It is a proper 11 o'clock number, and I love that we have an original 11 o'clock number, which even in that time was kind of rare to get.
Correct. And my God, is it a good song? It is a well-constructed song.
It is full of pathos. Like, it is the biggest moment of pathos in the entire story.
as long as he needs me. You know what I mean? It's like a huge 11 o'clock number for the leading lady.
And Angela, when she does it, she has every move of that song down packed.
Yeah.
And then they make the baffling ass decision in the movie to have Lucy just stare off into space and the song is just playing over her face.
Well, it's not uncommon for the movie to make a fucking stupid decision.
This one, like, is the most baffling. It's like the last song. Why would you do this? Why wouldn't you let your actress act?
Yeah, sure.
I don't know. Like, I know for a fact with this movie, they were trying to do an Oscar play. Then they saw their final edit and they moved it back 4 months because they knew they had a stinker on their hands. So they thought,
right, put it out in January.
It was literally like a fuck you, it's January kind of thing. But If You Walked in My Life, great. And it feels like one of those moments of where the book and the score come together. They reference each other. It's perfect.
Yeah.
I love this song so much. Speaking of songs that I think are great book songs, it's Bosom Buddies.
Yes, perfect. Perfect.
We'll always be bosom buddies, friends, sisters, and pals. We'll always be bosom buddies. If life should reject you, there's me to protect you. If I say that your tongue is vicious, if I call you uncouth, it's simply that. Who else but a bosom buddy will sit down and tell you the truth? Though now and again I'm aware that my candid opinion may sting, though often my frank observation might scald. I've been meaning to tell you for years, you should keep your hair natural like mine. If I kept my hair natural like yours, I'd be bald. But, darling...
With full-on vaudeville jokes in the center that just work. Yeah. How old are you? How old do you think? Somewhere between 40 and death. Perfect.
It's what you need because we start Act 2 with like Patrick getting older, which is an interesting thing. But this is closest thing to like a proper Act 2 opener, where it's like, we're going to give you a little fun song to sit down during. Yep. And then you know what? Fuck it. You guys have been good through Act 2 or Act 1. Let's give you Gooch's song, which is plot-ish, but fuck it. Let's fun.
Yeah. I love Gooch's song. I think it's great. I first heard it when Andrea McArdle did it in Jerry's Girls, which is exactly how you think it sounds.
Alter the drape of a drop of my bodice and soften the shape of my brow. I followed directions and made some connections, but what do I do now? Think this Miss Prim would have opened a window as far as her whim would allow, and who would suppose it was so hard to close it? Oh, what do I do now?
It's screamed and wonderful. And then, of course, Emily Skinner's is supremely good from the Kennedy Center production. It sets up everything. Character, the conflict of the character. Here's what I did. Now what? It's a great character song.
I wish Gooch had a more presence, you know?
Yeah, she has more of a sort of, she doesn't have a more of a sung presence, but she has got more of like a life presence.
Mm-hmm.
And I do love Jane Connell in the film because you just sort of see her lurking every so often, or like very pregnant and wandering, trying to stay out of the way.
And it's a very egoless performance.
Yeah, it
is a very effective. I don't care if I look ridiculous. I'll throw all this Christmas ornaments on me. I will look ragged. I will look terrible. I will do all these things.
Yeah.
Like even as a kid, and the first time I was shown this was shown by my godmother because I was like, I love the Music Man. She's like, well, you love the Music Man. You know, Robert Preston's in this movie. Like, let's check that one out. And I'm just like, looking at this poor woman, and I could tell, like, she's got it rough.
Yeah.
And I was young. I had to be like 4 or 5, and I'm just like, this woman's going through it.
God bless. And that's I honestly think it might be the best performance in the film.
Easily.
Like I said earlier, she and B. Arthur escaped unscathed because part of it was because they are so lived in, because they did it for so long. And Jane Connell actually played Mame on the road.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Is there any footage of that?
I don't think so. There might be like maybe her from a talk show or something of that time, like a variety show singing a number from it. But I don't think so.
Because I find her did Jane Connell do anything else big with her career not Mame related?
Yes. I saw her in something on Broadway. So, yes. What was it,
It was
though?
obviously a standout performance if you can't remember it.
Nope. I saw her in Moon Over Buffalo.
Okay.
And then I saw her in The Full Monty.
She was in that?
Yeah, she replaced Kathleen Freeman, who died during the run. Singing the "Things Could Be Better."
Yeah.
Did it get any worse? I don't think so. She did a lot. She was nominated for a Tony for Me and My Girl. She's incredible.
Yeah, absolutely incredible.
Yeah.
And is there any other songs you want to talk about? Do you really want to end on Mame, the big Hello Dolly number?
I think we sort of have to because of the way it builds.
Yeah.
The strumming and ringing, the humming and singing is starting to get out of hand. Since you brought Dixieland to Dixieland, you made our black-eyed peas and our grits. Mame seemed like the bill of fare at the Ritz. Mame, you came, you saw, you conquered, and absolutely nothing is the same. Your special, fascinational, proved to be inspirational. We think you're just sensational, man.
Because it starts kind of small.
So quiet.
Right? And just a banjo, which is, I think Philip Lang is who did the orchestrations for the show. And the orchestrations for the show are very good.
Yes.
But specifically, like the way that builds from like nothing, and like just the picking of the banjo and the right,
Mame.
and builds and builds and builds. And he writes a hummable fucking show tune. This whole album's going to be in my head for another week, and for a while, all I've been singing was "I'm independently owned." So grateful.
That being said, what is our overall thoughts on Mame and our cheese ratings? Andrew, why don't you go first?
Please.
I wasn't really wowed by it. I had to watch the movie, of course, which didn't help my opinion of it, I guess, since I watched that most recently.
Sure.
It wasn't very good.
Sure.
I don't know. I'm not a huge fan of these type of shows where it's just like not very much like there's not a lot of story and it's a lot of just someone carries the show, like it's a leading lady type show.
Mm-hmm.
I've never been a big fan of these. But I understand there's a place for them and they were very popular, so my opinion doesn't matter.
It matters.
On some level. On some level it doesn't, as far as like it's just not a show for me.
That's okay. You're wrong, but that's okay.
As far as a cheese rating, you have to give like something like upper class, but kind of fun. And I'm trying to think of what type of cheese that would be. I want it to be like one of those little cheese cubes that you'd get on a platter at a party. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
What type of cheese is that usually? I
Usually
don't
like
attend
a
these type of parties.
Cheddar or Kobe Jack cube?
Yeah.
I don't want to give it cheddar, so we'll give it Colby Jack then.
Makes sense to me. And I
Colby
think
Jack
that's
little cheese cube.
I think that's a reasonable choice. What about you, Robbie?
I love Mame. I am almost blind to its flaws because it is so joy-inducing. And I defy you to not be in a good mood after listening to the cast album of it.
That one I'll give you.
Can't be done. And so for that, I'm thinking of a cheese that I put in my mouth and go, yes, this is satisfying. Maybe like a truffled brie.
I like that. It's a good one. I have conflicting feelings about Mame. I love the album. I don't think it works as a show. I don't think I went into like the structural issues I feel this show has. Specifically, once we introduce the fiance character, I just don't care about the show anymore.
Sure.
I'm waiting for the show to be over. There's nothing fun. There's nothing. It just kind of is like, don't these people suck? And then I'm like, there's still 30 minutes to go. And it's worth it to get to if he walked in my life again. But, there's still a lot of show left.
Okay.
So I think it needs some work if they were to ever revive it again. Or they could just put Leah Michele in it and kick out someone else. That's what happens with revivals that don't work. We just put Leah Michele in it and then hope for the best.
Yeah.
So
I think that they could make it a lot better if they did a more modern revival. I don't know.
Apparently, there was a film getting made starring like a modern adaptation of Patrick Dennis's books, where Tilda Swinton was going to play the anti-main character, and that would have been interesting.
No, Toni Collette would be
great too.
Honestly, ideal. She sings, she does comedy very well.
But it wasn't a musical. It was going to be based on the book.
Right,
like
which I have
book
behind me. But like Tilda Swinton's a little too weird.
Yeah, I see that.
Yeah. Cate Blanchett, however, sure.
Podman to sale. If y'all haven't seen Tar, go see Tar.
Go see it.
Go see it at your Revival Theater or whatever. Go see it at the Dollar Cinema.
Oh, we don't have those here anymore.
We don't have them here anymore.
I just found out I have one. It's down in Albany.
Albany?
Yeah.
Oh, is that where you are?
Yeah, I'm up in Saratoga Springs.
315, baby. I'm 607, so I get it.
And I am going to be giving this Monterey Jack cheese served on a Vaseline cheese tray because of all the Vaseline smeared on the cameras of the film Mame. On that note, Robbie, this was wonderful. Top 10 of the year, we'll have to see.
What a damn joy. Thank you so much for having me back.
Of course. And like literally in 2 hours, you're about to go see Sweeney Todd live on Broadway. You lucky son of a bitch. But Robbie, promote all your wonderful stuff for the world to see.
Hey, thanks so much. Robbie Rozelle, Diva Robbie on all social media platforms because it's very easy. I'm very findable. I'm playing Birdland in June, and I have a semi-hit solo album that you can stream on Spotify right now. Please do that because I would like your 3 cents.
In fact,
3
Andrew,
cents. Wow.
Yeah.
Why don't you end the show with one song from his solo album that you pick out, just so everyone can have a little bit of Robbie to go out on.
A song that I pick out?
I was gonna have Andrew pick it out, but if you want to pick it out, Robbie,
no, go with God.
I'll pick one.
Do it.
I will pick my favorite one. I'm going to listen through the whole thing.
That makes me so happy. You will laugh.
You're going to get probably 2 or 3 cents from me.
And maybe shed a tear.
It is a great album, sincerely. I think it is
my favorite song will be your least favorite, I'm sure.
You never
he
know.
sings Captain, what is it, Hook's Tango?
Hook's Tango's on there. A Ferret is Veritable Smorgasbord from Charlotte's Web.
The rat song.
The rat song.
We got some classy picks here. Hey?
They really are damn fucking good picks. Thank you guys for listening. Please follow us on Spotify, Stitcher, Musicals with Cheese. We're on Twitter at Cheesy Musicals, Patreon Musicals with Cheese, Instagram Musicals with Cheese, YouTube page Musicals with Cheese. We have a Patreon-only podcast called Patreon with Cheese. We're covering Chicago. Is Ariana DeBose gonna allowed to be sexy this season? We'll find out. Email us at musicaltheaterlives@gmail.com. Our keeper of the cheese is Juliet Antonio. Keep a note. Is this the top 10 contender? We'll have to see in December. Fuck. This show is edited by Andrew DeWolf, and I think he's doing a fucking fantastic job.
Killing it.
Really. Thank you to the Broadway Podcast Network for having us on the platform and for not kicking us off for, all the general slander we say against Broadway people.
Kids, I don't know what's wrong with these kids today. Kids who can understand anything they say. Kids, they are disobedient, disrespectful oafs. Noisy, crazy, sloppy, lazy lopers. And while we're on the subject, kids, they are just impossible to control. Kids with their awful clothes and their rock and roll. Why can't they be like we were? Perfect in every way. What's the matter with kids today? Kids! I don't mind the moonlight swims, it's the twerking that hurts. Kids! How will we ever beat the Russians? Kids! What the fuck is Periscope? Kids, they are just impossible to control. Kids, with their awful clothes and their rock and roll. Why can't they dance like we did? What's wrong with Sammy K? I was doing a press event here a couple months ago, and I called myself a Charles Nelson Riley with a Paul Lynde Rising. Norm Lewis heard that from across the room and let out a belly laugh, and he said, you know what Paul Lynde said to the baby, don't you? And I have heard this story, but I needed to hear it out of Norm Lewis's mouth. So I said, tell the room, Norm Lewis. It seems that Paul Lynde was on an airplane and had a few many to drink, as he was wont to do. And there was a baby in the row behind him, screaming and crying. And finally, he turned around to the mother and said, if you don't shut that baby up, I'll fuck it. What's the matter with kids today?